Hey, lovers. So, I had an insight and I want to get your hot take on it. It's about my least favorite advice around dating. So, if you've been dating and listening to dating podcasts and talking to dating coaches and happily married people, you'll probably hear the same thing a lot, which is that as a woman, if you don't feel butterflies or chemistry on the first date, or if the guy is boring, you should give him a second chance. And that boring is actually good, and that butterflies are maybe even a sign of anxiety or something. But personally, I find it really hard if I'm bored with the guy or not attracted to him on the first date to force myself to go on a second date. And in fact, sometimes I feel like even further, if I really want to be successful in dating, I kind of have to pretend I'm attracted to him a little bit, and or else he won't even ask me on a second date. So I really don't like this, and I just constantly feel like I'm trying to force myself to be attracted to these boring guys, and I just wish that that wasn't dating advice. I mean, why can't it just be that you feel excited when you meet your future partner on the first date? And then it hit me. When I think about the guys that I had a crush on in middle school, the guys that I had a crush on in high school, the guys that I had a crush on in my first job, I didn't start having a crush on them the first hour that I met them. It was probably after even a couple months of seeing them regularly that suddenly I said, "Oh, actually, I kind of like him." And we live in this world, especially if you're a solo entrepreneur and like me, that you just don't really have that opportunity to see people repeatedly, and dating people at the workforce is kind of looked down upon, although some of us are hoping to bring that back. And so what I realized is that it's just very artificial to expect to have feelings for someone on the first date. And that is why you need to get to know someone over time. So the way that I'm applying this in my life is, for example, one of the techniques I've tried is asking men who I like, who I think know a lot of men, if they would introduce me to someone. So the other day, one of these men who I asked to make an introduction said, "Oh my gosh, I just realized my best friend is single. He's really handsome. Maybe we can all meet up for coffee." And then he sent me a picture of his friend, and my jaw dropped, and I thought, "Oh my gosh, this guy is just not my type." And then we had a video call together, and all right, here I am thinking, this guy doesn't speak English. He looks about 80 years old. He's vaping, and he's my age. I had all these judgments going through my head of feeling like I am not attracted to this guy. But then I remembered, okay, it's artificial to expect that I have feelings for someone seeing them on the first video call, because historically, the people I felt really attracted to, I got to know over time. So I think that the lesson there is it's definitely to your advantage to put yourself in situations like co-working spaces or, kind of more male dominated activities. Zen Center is a really good one. There's, some types of tech meetups in different cities where you could typically meet a lot of men, but just any kind of situation. I don't recommend fake CrossFit studios, as some of you guys know. I sprained my neck and I'm still getting better. But the moral is this: the reason that you have to kind of gently encourage yourself to go forward if you find a guy is boring the first hour that you meet him is because there's a very good possibility that after seeing this person over many months and getting to know them better, you might start feeling attracted to them. You might even fall in love with them. And this idea that you're going to be attracted to someone the first hour you meet someone is quite frankly nuts. Let me know what you think. I kind of feel like it's a pretty good insight, and I would like to hear your opinion. I just want to add one thing. I'm not an anthropologist, but I was thinking about we used to live in these tribes where you would see the same group of people over probably, well, I guess people had kids when they were pretty young, 13, 14, but you would be getting to know people over a decade or 2 decades, and that's plenty of time, and spending lots of time with each other and knowing each other's family. And in this day and age, a lot of us work remotely, we move from city to city. So we just don't have the same opportunity to get to know people over time and let attraction grow. And that's why it just makes more sense not to have that expectation on the first date. Even though it would be so nice if we could tell on the first date, it's just it's just not realistic. So my strategy for this is going to be a little more patient about taking the time to get to know someone and then also putting myself in situations where I can get to know people over time.